March 4th, 2013. It's 8:47 p.m. at the Crown Casino, Melbourne. A high roller walks into the mahogany room and sits at table 3. Within 54 minutes, he wins 8 hands of Baccarat in a row, each one at maximum stakes. The odds of that happening naturally is 1 in 14 billion. Surveillance catches nothing. The cards are clean. The dealer passes inspection, and the man walks out with 33 million Australian dollars. For 2 days, Crown's executive team has no explanation. Then, a single log entry in their server changes everything. A camera, a password, and a system built to be unbreakable, quietly and perfectly taken apart from the inside. This is the true story of James Manning, the man who turned a casino security into his greatest weapon. Melbourne, Australia, the Crown Casino Entertainment Complex, a structure occupying more than 500,000 square meters. It is not merely a building, it is a controlled ecosystem, one of the most monitored civilian spaces on the planet. Over 3,000 surveillance cameras track every movement. They are linked to a data center that stores petabytes of information. Facial recognition software identifies valued players and persons of interest. Analytics programs monitor betting patterns in real time, searching for anomalies. Every element of the interior design is a tool. The specific frequency of the sounds, the oxygen content in the air, the absence of windows to the outside world, all are calibrated to hold a visitor's attention, to suspend time. The system's purpose is singular: to manage the mathematics of chance on an industrial scale. To ensure that, over millions of individual bets, the statistical house edge produces a predictable profit. The system is designed to be infallible. Within this fortress, there is an inner sanctum, the mahogany room. Here, the air is quieter, the security more discreet but more intense. The minimum wagers are higher. It is an environment designed for the casino's most important clients, a class of player known as a whale. In early 2013, a whale enters this room. His name is James Manning, a real estate developer from New Zealand. He is known to the house. His file is extensive. It contains his player history, his preferred games, his average bet size. It also contains a psychological profile. Manning is classified as a conventional high roller, prone to chasing losses, susceptible to the illusion of a lucky streak. His assessed risk to the casino is low. His value is high. He is seated at a private Baccarat table. The felt is clean. The chips are stacked in perfect columns. The game is Punto Banco, a variant with rigid drawing rules. Once the bets are placed, neither the dealer nor the player can make any further decisions. The outcome is determined by a fixed mathematical sequence. Manning's play begins as expected. He places wagers of $50,000. He wins one hand. He loses the next. His play is erratic, normal. For 30 minutes, the system works as intended. Then, something changes. Manning places a maximum wager on the banker hand. He wins. He leaves his winnings on the table and bets again. He wins a second time. The pit boss, a senior floor manager, takes notice. After the third consecutive high-stakes win, he makes a call. His words are quiet, encoded. "We have a situation at table 3. In the surveillance room, a dedicated team is now assigned to watch Manning. After the 4th win, a standard countermeasure is deployed. The pit boss announces a deck change. A new factory-sealed block of 8 decks is brought to the table. The seal is publicly broken. The cards are inspected. A new shoe is put into play. This procedure is designed to disrupt rhythm and eliminate any possibility of a compromised deck. Manning displays no response. On the first hand from the new shoe, he places another maximum bet. He wins. He wins a 6th time. The salon, once filled with low chatter, is now silent. The other players have stopped their own games to watch. He wins a 7th hand, then an 8th. In less than an hour, 8 consecutive wins at maximum stakes. An event with a probability so low it is measured in billions to 1. The chip racks are brought into the table to count the winnings. The final tally is confirmed. 33 million Australian dollars. The casino's system did not just fail to predict this outcome, the system's own rules defined it as impossible. The incident response protocol is activated. It is a methodical, multi-layered search for an explanation. Level 1 is the physical world. The dealer is immediately relieved from his post. He is escorted to an administrative office for a formal interview. His statement is recorded. He has no connection to James Manning. The table itself is closed. The chips are secured and individually weighed to test for foreign objects. All are within manufacturing tolerance. The cards from both shoes are placed in sealed evidence bags. Under magnification, their edges and surfaces are examined. No bends, no marks, no imperfections. The automatic card shuffler used to prepare the decks is disassembled. Its internal mechanism is inspected. It is clean. The physical review yields nothing. Level 2 is the visual record. A team of the casino's most experienced surveillance operators begins a frame-by-frame analysis of the recorded footage. The software allows them to sync multiple camera angles into a single three-dimensional reconstruction of the room. They map Manning's body language, his posture, his gaze. He does not signal. He does not use a hidden device. He does not communicate with anyone. He appears to be in a state of complete isolation. They analyze the dealer. His hands move with practiced efficiency. His card-dealing technique is flawless. There is no evidence of collusion. They review hours of footage from before the incident. Manning meeting his host. Manning dining alone. There are no suspicious contacts. No unusual meetings. The visual audit is a dead end. The footage shows a man winning $33 million. It does not explain how. The only conclusion is that the crime, if there was one, is invisible. Level 3 is the final frontier, the digital trail. The casino's IT security team begins a deep dive into the server logs. This is the building's central nervous system, a precise record of every command executed on the network. An analyst isolates the time block of Manning's play. He filters for all administrative commands related to the mahogany room. He then cross-references these commands with the employee duty roster. The process takes hours. The amount of data is immense. But then, a single log entry is flagged, time-stamped 15 minutes before Manning's winning streak began. The entry shows a user ID assigned to VIP host Ishan Ratnam. The command executed is Enable Remote Guest Viewing Portal. The permission is granted to the guest profile of James Manning. The specific feed authorized is camera OH7, the overhead camera, at the Baccarat table. The search is over. The ghost has been found. The entire operation is built on a single point of failure, not in the technology, in the human protocol. Ishan Ratnam's job was to provide a premium, frictionless service. His performance was measured by client satisfaction. His credentials granted him a high level of administrative privilege, a privilege intended to solve problems for valued guests. In this case, it was used to create one. The request from Manning would have seemed unusual, but not impossible. A request for a remote security feed for his own personal protection, a request Ratnam had the authority to grant. At a service terminal, away from the scrutiny of the security office, he accessed the system. The interface was a series of drop-down menus. He selected Manning's profile. He selected the camera group for the private salon. He clicked a single checkbox. The system asked for his password to confirm the high-privilege command. He entered it. The action was logged. The door was opened. The mechanism was elegant. It used no exotic technology. It simply redirected the flow of information. In a hotel room several kilometers from the casino, an accomplice sat with a laptop. He logged into the casino's web portal using the credentials Ratnam had enabled. His screen now showed a live, high-definition video feed from camera OH7. He could see the dealer's hands with perfect clarity. In Baccarat, after bets are placed, the dealer pulls cards from the shoe. The technique involves sliding them across the table face down. For a fraction of a second, the value of each card is often exposed to the overhead camera. This momentary image was the key. The accomplice's task was simple: see the card, identify the winning hand, then speak one word into a headset: banker, player, tie. The audio was transmitted over a standard encrypted cellular call. It was received by a custom-molded inductive earpiece worn by James Manning. The device was inert. It had no power source of its own. It was activated by a small induction loop hidden in the collar of his shirt, powered by a battery the size of a coin. The technology was sophisticated but commercially available, undetectable by conventional security sweeps. Inside the salon, James Manning was no longer a gambler. He was a human receiver, executing commands. His mind was not occupied with risk or strategy or chance. It was focused on listening for a single dispassionate word. This explains the central anomaly noticed by the surveillance operator: a total lack of physiological stress response. The financial risk was an illusion. To Manning, the outcome of each hand was already a known fact. He was simply waiting for the information and then acting on it. The casino's own multi-million-dollar surveillance system, its eye in the sky, was being used as a tool to dismantle the house from the inside out. The discovery of the method triggers the final phase of the operation: containment. The objective is no longer to understand what happened. It is to ensure no one else ever does. A team of Crown's senior legal counsel and executives convenes. A dossier is prepared. It contains the server logs, the screenshots of the live feed access, the analysis of Manning's betting pattern, and the employment file of Ishan Ratnam. They meet Manning in his villa. The atmosphere is not confrontational. It is procedural. They present the evidence clearly, clinically. They lay out the criminal charges he would face: conspiracy, wire fraud, offenses under Australian anti-cheating and gaming laws. The potential sentence would be years in federal prison. Then, they offer the alternative: a non-disclosure agreement already drafted, full forfeiture of the $33 million in winnings, and his immediate, permanent departure from the country. It is not a negotiation. It is the statement of a resolution. Manning agrees to the terms. The next problem is Ishan Ratnam. He must be removed from the company, but his termination cannot raise questions. It cannot become a story in itself. A counter-narrative is required, a piece of misdirection. The casino's public relations department is tasked with creating a positive news cycle around Ratnam. They invent the story of the Winston cocktail, a fiction about a record-breaking $12,500 drink sold at a casino bar. They create props. A specialized menu is printed. Photographs are taken. A detailed press release is written, positioning Ishan Ratnam as the exceptional host who made this historic sale happen. The story is released to a curated list of lifestyle and news outlets. It functions perfectly. It generates positive headlines. More importantly, it provides a legitimate public context for Ratnam's eventual quiet departure from the company. The real reason for his exit is buried under a story about cognac. The final actions are executed with methodical speed. Manning is escorted to Melbourne Airport. His departure is confirmed by casino personnel. The casino chips are recounted, returned to the vault, and the financial transaction is formally voided in the accounting system. Ishan Ratnam is terminated, his system access revoked, his employment record sealed. The internal report on the incident is classified at the highest level of corporate secrecy and archived on a secure, air-gapped server. To the public and to law enforcement, nothing happened. The true story of the event exists only in the shadows. The details were discreetly shared at the highest levels of the global casino industry. The Crown incident became the catalyst for the most significant overhaul of insider threat protocols in a generation. New rules were implemented. Privileged system commands now required two-factor authentication and dual authorization from separate managers. Regular, unannounced audits of employee account permissions became standard practice. The system evolved. It became stronger, more complex. But the fundamental vulnerability exposed that night remains. Any system designed by people can be betrayed by people. The final unanswered question is not about technology. It is about trust and the price at which it can be sold.